All right, hey everyone, and welcome back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's Sunday night, so as usual, we're going to take a look at how the miners did against Bitcoin this past weekend. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, 125,750, I think it was. That is freaking awesome. I think this week is going to be really good for not only Bitcoin but Bitcoin miners. Miners are pumping right now in the after hours as well, and we got some good news potentially for Iren and other AI companies as well. Well, companies that get into AI miners, right? There's a report that came out that BlackRock purchased a data center company for like $40 billion. We'll take a look at the details there a little bit on that. And then, right, where should like Iren, Cypher, potentially even Cleanspark and others be valued at that point? We'll talk about it, get into Q&A, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so let's see here. Where do we want to go? We want to go here. We got to do this every time. Not financial advice, for turn only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's take a look at what's going on with here with Bitcoin right now in the hours. So yesterday, like I said, Bitcoin reached a new all-time high. It got to 125,750, came back down, which was kind of nice. I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, if this thing continues and we open up on Monday, right, with CME futures, we're going to have a huge gap. And luckily enough, we don't have a huge gap, or we're going to even have a gap on CME futures. So I was like pleasantly surprised to have that. I don't like it when Bitcoin runs over the weekends because the CME futures are not trading. And then you get these gaps on Monday, and it's like Bitcoin likes to pull these gaps back down. So we're good there. Bitcoin is primed right now for a nice run here. We could be, by the end of the week here, we could be with Bitcoin about 130,000 if all things go well right now. But we'll see. That's kind of where I'm thinking we might end up here in the next couple of days, right? 130,000 I think would be a good touch there. We obviously got to 125,750, so not too far from that. I think it's doable. Maybe we'll go even higher than that. We'll see. Miners. Obviously, we're trading over the weekend here, so these are all the numbers that we had from Friday, which the miners had a great day also on Friday. But in the after hours, or pre-hours now, you can see a lot of these guys are in the green here. BitDeer is up 2.16%. Bitfarms is up 6%, 6.3%. That one's doing really good here. Cypher's up almost 5%, 4.97%. Cleanspark is up also 3.14%. Core is up just a little bit, 0.45%. Hive Digital is up, I saw 1.79%. So this one's up at 5.84% there. Hut 8 is up 1.65%. Iren is up 3.82 right now. And Mara is up 2. Let's see where does it end up at. Come on, finish up. Boy, it's still trading. 2.28. Okay, so it's right there. Riot Platforms is up 2.3. Well, maybe. I guess there's a lot of trades happening. 2.47 on that one. TeraWolf is up, wow, that one has definitely bounced up here a little bit here recently. It's up 3.61%. And Soluna here, which we've been kind of keeping an eye on, see where that one's going. That one is down another 9.9% after having a pretty bad day on Friday as it was already. So it looks like people are selling out of that one. All right, as far as Bitcoin here, we'll get into some stories as well. But Bitcoin right now is up 8.47% here in September, which is really good for us, looking good. BlackRock also bought in a huge ton on Friday. 791 million was bought in by BlackRock and their customers there. So we had almost $1 billion of inflows on Friday. Obviously, things are starting to pick up here. We talked about Bitcoin being low on exchanges, right? That there's definitely a demand for Bitcoin and it's low, which is obviously going to help the price go up here, which we obviously saw over the weekend here. I didn't think it was going to happen until Monday, but it did happen over the weekend nonetheless here. So I'm expecting a good week here for us nonetheless on that one. All right, some good things that we do have here. This is about BlackRock. So this was from TAR on X here. BlackRock just paid 40 times revenue to buy a 5 gigawatt under construction data center capacity. So BlackRock's GIP plans to acquire aligned data centers for $40 billion. A record deal in private data center sector. Aligned 5 gigawatt capacity lines with AI infrastructure demand surging to 223 billion by 2030, addressing computational bottlenecks. The 40 billion valuation reflects 40 times revenue multiples, exceeding traditional data center valuations of 10 to 15 amid AI-driven premium here. Strategic partnerships with MGX and BlackRock's infrastructure track record highlight AI's geopolitical and economic significance, which is true. So that gets us to the point, or a question actually, where should Iren be valued at, right? Iren's going to be generating, annual run rate is going to be 500 million from just GPUs next year. That's currently. They could obviously double that even more once Horizon 1 gets installed here. But just on this alone, I mean, we could see, let's do 40 times 500. So what is that? 20 billion. Iren is valued right now at 13 billion, roughly, something like that. So it could still easily go up 2x from where it is right now, right? That would get us to about $100 or so. And then if they increase their revenues even more in 2026, right, doubling it to maybe a 1 billion in annual run rate, we could see them obviously getting to, a potentially 40 billion valuation there at that point, which would be more or less a 4x from where we are right now. So there's still a lot of potential here with this, and that's why I titled this video, basically, you're not bullish enough on AI, data centers, and all that stuff. But here's a continuation of it. This gives us a little bit more details on the BlackRock deal. So again, BlackRock just made a big bet on AI infrastructure. Through its global infrastructure partners arm, it's acquiring allied data centers, 78 sites across America, with 600 megawatts operating, 700 megawatts under construction, and a roadmap to 5 gigawatts of capacity for $40 billion. So at $8 million per megawatt implied valuation, this deal redefines the benchmarks for AI-ready infrastructure. For context, CoreWeave plus Core Scientific 1 gigawatt is $9 million per megawatt. Applied Digital plus CoreWeave lease 250 megawatts is $7 billion revenue over 15 years. Whoever controls power, land, and cooling controls the next decade of tech. Obviously, Iren, Cypher, Applied CoreWeave, DGHI, which is obviously the ETF there, Nebius AI data centers, and so forth. So, the valuation is going to go much higher on a lot of these companies here. Cypher, Iren, potentially Cleanspark, Riot, Hut 8, Bitfarms as well. Obviously, we see Bitfarms pumping nicely over pre-hours right now. So we're going to have a lot more, well, potentially, I'm thinking that we're going to have a lot more good days with the miners going forward. We're going to be a lot more in the green and everything else, which will be great for all of us because, right, we've battled through the last 3 years of the miners not doing that great, except for maybe a couple with the AI intentions. But recently, it seems like everybody else is getting in on that as well. So this is going to be a fun time, right? The hard part is, as always, going to be to know when to sell. And nobody's going to know when to sell exactly, right? We've already seen people sell a little early on Iren, where Iren still went up, 2x, 3x from where they sold at that point. And people are, trying to get back into it as well. So that's going to be on each and one of you to decide when to do that. And I'm still right now holding strong. We'll see where we get to in the next, I would say, 6, 9 to 12 months with this stuff. And we'll also obviously keep an eye on how the economy is doing and everything else. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few months. It's going to be really exciting here. We could see a little bit of dip in December here, like we historically do with the end of the year selling happening at that point. All right, one other thing that came up was also from Matthew Siegel there. This was about Fermi. Fermi went public here last week, I think it was. They got priced at $21. I think right now they're about $28 per share. This is also a AI data center play, but they're also looking to do 11 gigawatts of power, where they're looking to put in nuclear, I think. Definitely interesting on that one. And that one is actually valued right now at like 18 billion. Let's take a look at it really quick here on this one. I just put that one up. I was looking at this one today, actually. So Fermi is at, 2860 is the valuation on it here. If we look at their market cap right now, 16.95 billion, right? And really no revenues yet. They're going to be talking about revenues in 2026 potentially here. While we already have Iren, Cypher going to be generating revenue right in 2026. Iren's actually generating revenue right now. And they're only valued right now at 13. Like I said, let me see. Make sure I get this correct here. Iren is valued at 13.6, right? So even 3 billion below that. And they're already generating revenue. Right, next year's going to be 500 million annual run rate for them for GPUs plus Bitcoin mining there. So, I mean, this one is definitely still, in my opinion, way undervalued from where it should be. And I think it's going to be going up much higher along with the rest of the gang here, I guess. We need to come up with a term for these miners with AI potential. We obviously have the Mag 7, which have been leading stocks here in the past. Maybe we can figure out what the Mag or the Miner 7 are going to be. Best ones to potentially get into for the next year or so. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys on this side of things. Let's take a look at the miners. How have they performed in the last 52 weeks compared to Bitcoin as well, and the strategy also. So on this one, we always look at how high the miners are from the 52-week lows and how far away they are from the 52-week highs. You can see Iren is outperforming everything here. It's up 884% in the last 52 weeks. It's only 3.3% away from its 52-week high here, which was obviously last week. And then Cypher's up tremendously as well, 690%, and it's only 6.8% away from its 52-week high. So that was reached about a week ago, a little bit more than that, I think. Or maybe it was last week. I can't remember. Too many numbers that I'm tracking. Hive has also here surprised me, actually, being up 253%. In the last 52 weeks, it's definitely outperformed a lot of these much bigger guys here. Riot's up 214%. Kango's up 205%. Kango basically became a Bitcoin miner back in December of last year here. So that one truly wasn't a Bitcoin miner for the full year. BitDeer up 193%, Core up 187%, Cleanspark even now 147%, Bitcoin's only up 107%, Strategy is only 97% from its 52-week lows, and Marathon lagging completely towards the end there, 91.8%. So Strategy and Marathon are lagging behind Bitcoin. Everybody else is at least somewhat outperforming or tremendously outperforming Bitcoin right now as it is. So that's awesome to see. Looking at the miners here over the last week here, how did they do against Bitcoin? Well, Cypher had a great week. It was up 28%. Hive was up even nicely, 26%. Cleanspark up 23%. Iren 21%. BitDeer 20%. Kango up 18%. Marathon up 17%. Strategy up 14%. Bitcoin only being up 11%. Riot underperformed here a little bit, only being up 10%. And Core being up 6% for last week. Looking at the 4 weeks, we can see Bitcoin's up only 5% here. So everybody pretty much outperformed except for Kango being up only 3%. Cleanspark has done really well here, up actually 54% here in the last 4 weeks, followed by Iren at 49%, Cypher at 35%. And then on the 8 weeks, we got Bitcoin being up 4%. We got Strategy underperforming, Kango underperforming. Everybody else has outperformed Bitcoin tremendously here. You know, some of these guys are up 5x. That would be, gosh, I don't know, what is that, 16x or so, something like that on some of these guys here. And some of these guys are even higher than that, like 90x almost. No, not 90, 45x. Like Cypher being up 182%, Iren up 156%, Hive up 100%. And then at the 12 weeks time frame, we can see that Iren is up huge, 181% here. From then, Bitcoin's only up 4%. So from that point, we got Kango, Marathon, and Strategy underperforming, and everybody else is outperforming Bitcoin here. Even Cypher up 131%, Hive 100% as well at that point. So it's been a nice run here for the miners over the last 12 weeks overall, except for maybe a few exceptions there. But this is, I'm loving this. I hope you guys are loving this as well. I hope you guys are, you know, growing your portfolios and growing your net worth tremendously here. It's well deserved, especially if you've been in these guys for the last couple of years. This is a nice reward here to get, and I don't think the reward is done yet. Looking at, let me see here, you can see the table here, a lot more green here on a lot of these guys here, which is nice. And then last week we had a nice green week all across here. So October is so far acting like October, which is great because historically we should see this, especially if we look at it here over historical time frames. I believe it is actually, where do I have it? History, there we go. This is where I have it. Right, historically, October, we've only had 2 years that have been in the red, and everything else has been in the green here for October. So, and then November historically has been also pretty good here. We've only had 4 years so far in the red. So we'll see if we get a continuation in November as well. And then December, more red historically. So there might be some profit taking happening in December, like I said. So be cautious of that happening. But that's usually not towards like the last week and a half to 2 weeks of December at that point when we start seeing that. All right, so that's it. Spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members. Link for that is down in the description as always. Love the support there. Love the support from you guys here as well. And let's get into Q&A, see what you guys have to say on any of this stuff. I'm looking forward to this week. It should be another fun one here. And my net worth is loving it. All right, let's get into it here. Where do I want to go? I want to go here, Q&A. All right, let's see what we got. As always, questions. If you could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I would appreciate it. And we're going to work our way up as always, and then work our way down as well. I'll get to all the questions here. It's just going to take me a little while, so be patient if there are a lot of questions, but there doesn't seem to be like there is. All right, let's see. Sadie, thank you so much for the thumbs up and the smiley face. All right, James Katz says boo gaps. Yeah, we didn't get a gap, so that was good. Mohammed says Bitfarms is popping overnight. Yes, it is. It's doing really good here, which is nice to see as well. Victor C, what means Cypher valuations should be much higher? Well, their market cap, right? So their stock price, depending on how much they dilute, which I don't see much dilution happening here, at least right now. They should be much higher valuation. All right. S. Ramani, question. When is the earliest you will sell? I'm still having a little bit of PTSD from the rug pull in December last year, making me want to take some gains in November if things double from here. Yeah, I mean, if things double from here, I'll probably start taking some gains, right? If we do go up that quickly here, I may take a little bit off the table at that point, but I still want to be in it for the long haul. So we'll see. We'll see where things go on these guys. All right, SK, does Hive has any AI HPC plans, any gigawatt capacity in pipeline? Not gigawatts pipeline that I'm aware of. They bought a data center facility that they're turning into a tier 3 data center in Toronto, Canada. So they are going to be using that for HPC AI. They're also partnering with Bell Canada to do HPC AI for sovereign AI, basically for the government there maybe, or for some customers in Canada as well. So they are working towards that also. All right. Okay, Enhut Nagoyan. We are lucky, Seb, if miner does not get involved with data center and with BTC price right now, they will be all under 15 and nobody care about them. Which miner are you talking about? If miner not get involved with data centers, if the miners don't get involved, yeah, I mean, if the miners don't get involved, yeah, the stock will, depending on which stock you're talking about there, but yeah, they got to get involved in that because that's definitely the future there. All right. Will Google be paying Cypher next year? Well, it's going to be FluidStack, right? So FluidStack is going to be paying Cypher there, but Cypher, Google has purchased some shares of Cypher and also kind of help them out, provide some basically financing, some backstop there. All right. SKS question is Hive still undervalued? Yes, they are still undervalued in my opinion. They should be probably at least double from where they are right now if they were compared properly to their peers. But again, I keep saying this, right? They don't have any operations in the United States. That might be a reason why, potentially. All right, between Wolf and Hive, which stock has higher potential to go up in stock price? Oh gosh, that's a good question there. Wolf obviously is going to go up on more deals that they sign potentially going forward for the megawatts that they have available. Hive is getting 25 exahash, which is obviously higher than where Wolf is on Bitcoin mining. And they are trying to get into HPCI as well, like I mentioned just a second ago, right? Bell Canada, right? Their data center in Toronto, they're building out as well, or converting that over into a tier 3 data center. So they're getting into that space as well. We just don't know if it's going to be anything. It's much smaller size, megawatt-wise, for AI than what TeraWolf has. So I think TeraWolf has had a huge run up here, right? I think the only way it's going to go back up is more deals potentially, right? You need more deals because right now the revenue's set. You know what the revenue is going to be for the next, 5-10 years. So if you get another deal, you increase that revenue. So then the share price should be up higher at that point. All right, Roger. Question: market makers will take profit before end of year, so keep that in mind. Yeah, that's kind of what I said, right? December, keep that in mind. All right, Sarmelin Gaming. Do you see Iren and Cleanspark going a lot higher? Yes, I do for both of them. All right, Andrew, Cleanspark, I think, has plenty more room to run. I would agree there. I think they're still way undervalued. They should be at least double from where they are right now. Surendra, Hive is marching towards 10, expecting 260 BTC production in September. They should get close to that. If not, yeah, I'm with you on that. That should be pretty close. All right, Victor C, which miner is the most undervalued current price? So right now, it would still be probably between... let's take a look at it here so I can pull this up really quick for you guys. Let me see here. Enterprise. If we look at enterprise metrics, which I haven't updated here in a second, but we can still see what they're getting more or less per megawatt or per exahash at least, right? So we're not taking really account also for HPCI potential here. So if we look at this right here, this is enterprise value per exahash, right? Hive is still being valued at only 49 million. Cleanspark at 76, Marathon at 86. Where some of these other ones, Core 309, right? But Core has HPCI, Cypher has got HPCI, Iron's got HPCI. Now some of these guys also get into it. Riot's even getting a nice valuation there here. But just based on this stuff here, we're definitely looking at Hive, Cleanspark being two that are way undervalued. I think Bitfarms to a certain degree as well, but I would put that probably at number 3 spot. I think Hive, Cleanspark, and then possibly Bitfarms in that order as far as undervaluation is concerned. All right. Okay, let's go back here. See, talked about that one. All right. Let's see, LB. Hi, Seb. Question: how high do you think BitDeer price go? Thanks. Oi. Let's see here. I mean, it's obviously going to go up higher, right? They've been talking about their sites in Ohio that could be used for HPCI. If they get that some kind of deal in there, that could definitely be a good thing for them. Obviously, pump this up much higher from where it's at right now. Let me see here. Don't want to go here. I want to go. Where am I? I am here. Let me see really quick on BitDeer. Pull this up. I mean, it's gone up quite nicely here recently, but I think it can still go up higher. Let's see. This is what I want. Right. This is what we're looking at here with them. I mean, they got to $20.39. This was probably, the last time they were back at this price was in February of this year. So it's definitely had a nice little run here, but it can still go up higher, I think. If we look at the numbers that I have for them, let's see, where do I have them at? BitDeer, let's see, I have them between 1974 and 1290. They're at 19. I mean, they're getting close to that fair valuation at least. And they could still go up a little bit higher from where they are. But if they announce any kind of deals, then yeah, they can still go up higher from there. But right now, we're just basing this on their own Bitcoin mining production, basically. All right. Let's go back here. Okay. What else we got here? Talked about that one. Okay. Mark Suave, Cleanspark, will it make it to $30 this cycle? I think so. But we need some more definitive news from them on their HPCI ambitions. S. Ramani, question: what's your Cleanspark target 6 months from now? Do you see it crossing 30, assuming no dilution? Yeah, I do see it crossing 30. I could see it possibly even getting higher. I mean, right now, I think it should be somewhere between. Let me pull up Cleanspark here really quick as well. Go back here. And you guys can see that I have them between 22.79 and 34.19. Right, they're at 1594. So yeah, I do think that they should probably get there. This is based on Bitcoin mining, but then they add on top of that as well HPCI potential, and then you're looking at a much higher price valuation at that point as well. And I only have them at 15, right? Iren, because they're getting into HPCI, they got customers who are doing their own thing there with becoming a neo cloud. They're at P of 20, which they have them between $52 and $78 for them right now, which is kind of in line with what we're seeing as far as analysts price targets for them as well, right? $75 to $82 more or less. So that coincides with that quite nicely here. That includes obviously the 500 million annual run rate for them. And then if Cleanspark gets some kind of deal, or they're going to be doing their own neo cloud, kind of like Iren, I mean, obviously the stock can go up much higher from where I think it might, right? 22 to 34, we could see it. If we put in 20 and then give them a couple $1 million for HPCI or neo cloud revenue, well, then we're looking at possibly getting to the point where I originally thought they were going to get to, which was like $60, $70 with Bitcoin mining, but it's not because of that. It's because of HPCI potential. So what was I going to say? The best part is still ahead of us. And for these guys, I know some of these guys obviously had a huge run up here, Iren, Cypher. But I think still for the rest of these miners here, I think the best is yet to come for them going forward here. And I mean, we'll see where we are in a year. We might be up much higher than we even anticipate right now. But it just all depends on the news that comes out from these guys. Let's go back here. All right. Let's see, Vladimir. Question: If falls under 2, would that be considered a good buy opportunity, or would it be better to allocate money to another company in the sector? And if so, which one? I'm not sure which one you're referring to there. Are you referring to Bitfarms there or Hive? Not sure which one you're referring to there. All right. John Daniel Seb, do you hear anything about Riot? Got any deals yet? Nothing from them. No, we haven't heard anything from that. Andrew, do you think Mara can run anytime soon, as it's lagging behind everyone significantly and has a lot of issues breaking 20? No, I mean, it should run, right? I'm saying it should run, but will it run? That I don't know. Investors are kind of PO'd with them right now. Right operations have not been great. They've been getting into these other sectors that haven't really yielded any fruits, more or less, you could say. Right. And the management compensation there is way out of line with what the company is generating revenue and things like that. So it might take some time. They might need to come up with some really, really good news for the stock to run. But it's been running here nonetheless a little bit. I mean, it's obviously lagging behind. So we'll see if we can correct that. I'm not sure. All right. S. Ramani's question. So I remember you mentioning a month ago that you might start taking profits for Iren at 50s. Have you changed your decision based on the 80 plus? And so, yes, well, it was based on that and also seeing obviously where things are heading with HPC data centers overall. And then today's news, right? $40 billion BlackRock buying out data center, right? That's a 40x multiple on the revenues. That just gives me much higher price targets potentially for Iren here going forward. So it's always going to be one of those things where you're going to be looking at the data that you're getting in, and does that data warrant a potential sale of the company, right, or sell the shares, or do you continue to hold on to it going forward because there might be more potential here in the future? And I'm still of that belief that there's probably a better future going forward here, even forward, yeah. Adam T. Iren is converting Bitcoin miners to HPCI. Will this decrease their exahash significantly? Dan has talked about that they will at times move stuff out of the way and then potentially move it into sites that have space available. So we'll see what they come in at for September here. But yes, it could lower them. But if they're making more revenue from the HPCI side of things, okay, right? It's not that bad of a deal. So we'll see. All right. SK, can Bitfarms get any deals this year? I would be surprised if they do, to be honest. I think maybe a deal will happen in 2026 for them. That's kind of where I would think, more or less. All right. Andrew says, Cleanspark have always been excellent at executing their plans. Shame about all the dilution last year, but you can be sure when they start their HPCI, they will be a leader in a short space of time. Yeah, I mean, their execution has been great. And you got to remember, this past year, they haven't diluted anything, really, since November of last year. Other companies have also obviously diluted a lot. Not only them, everybody was diluting like crazy to get to the numbers that they wanted to get to. So it wasn't just them. But the good thing is they haven't done any dilution here in the last year since November. We'll see if that's still the case here, but I think that's going to be the case. All right. Victor C says, Mara has not moved, still at 18. Would that be one of the most undervalued? Would that be a buy? It's, I would say, like within the top 5, 7 of the most undervalued still. So again, with that one, I mean, it's got huge potential. Can it execute on that? Can it fix some of the issues that it has, right? Can it fix some of the negative sentiment it has around the company? It's doable, but it's going to take time, I think. We'll see. All right. Is there a high probability Cypher could go Neo? Cypher is looking into it. Tyler Page stated there that they are looking into it. They're basically investigating it to see if it makes sense for them. Right? Would they have the interest there, like Iren has having interest from customers? So they're looking into it. All right. DFly, Iren 200 by end of year. Been calling it for a while. Do you believe me yet? I believe you. Yeah. I think it is possible. All right. John Kurtz, is it true Cleanspark all-in cost to mine Bitcoin is only 40,000? If so, they're still sitting on a gold mine. All-in cost? No. I mean, depending what you put into all-in cost. Cash cost, they might be around there. But if you include also stock-based compensation, depreciation, amortization, you're looking at much higher at that point, I think. I would have to look. They're right around 60, 70,000, somewhere around there. All right. John Daniel said, which are the top 4 miners, top 4 miners has best AI deals? The best deals, I mean, you got TeraWulf, Core, and right now, oh gosh, Cypher. Cypher's the other one that has a deal. And then you also have obviously Galaxy, which we don't really cover that much, but we do talk about it from time to time. Galaxy has a deal. Applied Digital has a deal with CoreWeave as well. As far as which one has the best deals, but I mean, those are the ones that have deals right now. All right. Now, when is the next monthly production report coming out for Iren? It should be probably tomorrow, I think. They usually report like the 4th or the 5th of the month here, so that should be possibly tomorrow. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. All right, Duffman, question, what do you think the likelihood of Cleanspark having to pay the 185 million tariff on its Chinese miners' imports? There's a very, very, very small, slim chance they would have to do that. Based on what I've seen, what I've read, it seems like they have all the paperwork and everything else to back it up that they were not from China. So, I mean, we'll see. All right, Victor C. What does Mara still have the biggest BTC stash? Yes, they still have the 50-some thousand right now. All right. David Alberts, question. If Iren hits 100, do you think they'll do a stock split to make shares more affordable? No, why? Yeah, I mean, if it gets to 1,000, maybe at that point do a stock split, but not $100. $100, I don't think is that expensive. All right. Stripes, can you comment on JP Morgan analysts? Yeah, I mean, they were trying to bring down the stock price, I think, to buy in more. I mean, that's the only reason you would put something like that out. His math was a little off as well, I think, on his assumptions in there. So, yeah. Download says, is this the last BTC super cycle? I don't think it's going to be I mean, I would not consider this a BTC super cycle at all. We're seeing Bitcoin price going up, yes, but it's not going up nowhere near the gains we saw in 2021, 2017, or even 2013 for that matter. So I think it's going to be an extended cycle. I wouldn't call it a super cycle, more of an extended cycle where Bitcoin price is going to go up, on a yearly basis, maybe 20, 30%, 40%, maybe it does better than that. I mean, right now we're only up, 15%, 20% on Bitcoin so far this year. And we have this quarter left to go. So we might end up being, who knows, 30, 40, 50% up on the year only. So that's what I mean by an extended cycle there. All right. Okay, DFly says, sold my SBET and writing 10,000 shares of Cleanspark. Nice, very nice. Cleanspark is next to run, potentially. SK, do you think Canon will go up from here? Canon obviously has made some deals, I believe, I saw recently. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe that's the case there. Canon obviously had a pretty bad day on Friday, it looks like. I'm not sure why, but it was down. It wasn't down too much. Where am I looking at this year? Am I looking at the right one? Yeah, it was down. That wasn't down too much. I'm looking at the daily. But, okay, so it wasn't a down day. It was up quite nicely, then it finished out in the red. That's why I'm seeing this. So if you look at this here, it's had a nice run up here. Obviously got to $1.56. It got to a high here of 327. This was back in December of last year. So it's nowhere near getting to that figure yet, where we've seen the other miners here getting to that. So, right, I've been kind of cautious on them with you guys over the past probably 2 years. Whenever you guys ask me about them, I'm like, I think there's better miners out there that will do better, because I was just seeing Canon not perform anywhere near one as nicely as some of the other miners have, even when they were performing, and also compared to Bitcoin itself. So, be cautious with this one. Keep an eye on it, and if they do good on their ASICs or their Bitcoin mining growth, or whatever it might be, that might help the stock out there as well. All right. Let's see other questions we got here. Okay. Okay. John Daniel, Seb, do you own TeraWolf? I do not. No. All right. D. Royce, Ben G is correct when he said for every HPCI deal, the remaining miners are more valuable. Yeah. DeFi sold my Soluna and bought Bitfarms. Very nice. Hopefully, you should have had a nice profit in that one. What are you buying, if any dips, or riding it till you sell? So depending on the dips that we get here, I'm not expecting any dips, but if we do get any dips, I'd probably still buy. Iren has had such a huge run up. It's at $50 right now as it is. For the amount of money that I could put into it, right, a couple $1,000, not going to be that much of a, even if it goes 2x or even 3x, that still would be, I could turn $2,000 into $4,000 or $6,000. So the rate of return, or the rate of gains I'm going to have there is going to be much smaller than from when I was buying it at $7, $8. So I don't know. If I do buy, I think I'm going to buy like Cleanspark, maybe some more Bitfarms. I think those guys are still way under there. I think there may be some more gains there potentially in the long run, maybe. That's kind of where I'd be kind of looking at. All right, Jay Patel, thoughts on Metaplanet? Metaplanet is basically a Bitcoin treasury company. I'm not a big fan of those companies. If I wanted exposure to Bitcoin, I'd just buy a Bitcoin myself. But I do love the fact that they're buying up a crap ton of Bitcoin, which is great because it takes off the exchanges, makes it, supply and demand, right? There's becomes more demand when there's less supply. Price of Bitcoin is going to go up, so I love that. But as far as Metaplanet or Strategy or any other of those other companies that are Bitcoin treasuries or Ethereum treasuries or Solana treasuries or what other treasury companies, I'm not a big fan of those. All right. DeFi says lots of miners up after hours. Where are they at right now? Let's see. Bitfarms. Bitfarms is up 5%. Cypher is right now up 5.25%. Cleanspark is up 3% still. Let's see where Iren's at really quick as well. See if that's changed at all. Iren is up 4% now. Went back down 3.63%. So yeah, we'll see where we start out tomorrow morning, right? We've seen this before as well, that miners are up pre-hours, and then comes the regular trading day, and we end up in the red relatively quickly, and then maybe get out in the green. But I think it's gonna be a green day tomorrow nonetheless for the miners. All right, Sour has got a question here. So sounds like you aren't taking any profits anytime soon. I am not. No, I am holding on to what I have right now, and we'll see where we go from there. SK, can Applied go up like Iren? Oh, I don't know. I know that they have a deal with CoreWeave, and I think they got a deal with somebody else. Did they get a deal with somebody else as well? I'm not sure. I think what's driving Iren right now is them becoming a neo cloud provider themselves. That's what I think is really helping the stock on that one. All right, Victor, if Cypher gets another deal soon during BTC making new highs, it could gap up to new highs. Yeah, oh yeah, and then some. Yeah, I would agree. John Daniel, with these large gains, we have to pay hundreds of thousands on tax. Yes, we will. So ideally, we'd want to sell those in like January or February, right? So then we have a full 12 to 13, 14 months before we have to pay taxes on those things. That would be ideal, but right, we'll see. But hey, it's better to have that than having gains. So I'm all for paying Uncle Sam there. All right. Let's see. Talked about that. All right, DeFi. Iren should overtake CoreWeave. If that happens, Iren should be around at $280 per share at 70 billion market cap. We are seeing price correction happen in real time. Yes, we are. Yeah. Senkath, what's your price target for Mara and MicroStrategy by December? Mara, I would probably see them closer to $30, depending where Bitcoin goes, right? So Bitcoin, and then if they provide any news on their HPCI ambitions or any of that, like stock could go up on that. But I would say probably like $30, $35, depending where Bitcoin goes at this point. MicroStrategy, MicroStrategy. I don't know. MicroStrategy has been lagging here. I think it's got too many ticker symbols, right? It's got SDRC, it's got some other ones. I think it's just got too much. So I don't know how well that one's going to do. It will go up, but I think it's going to be lagging behind Bitcoin. All right, Christopher, feeling confident placing long calls on Iren or Cypher or Bitfarms. Thoughts? I don't do options, so you may have to ask some of the much better, more educated on that part and the viewers. They'll probably be able to help you out on that. All right. Case 10 Tank NC, but that's a tough one. Cass, I'm just going to call you Cass. Question, is Bitfarms at the top now, or do you think it will go much higher? I think it can go much higher. Question, if you sell all your Bitfarms shares now, how much profit would you have? Not that much. It'd be low tens of thousands. All right. DeFi says gold is outperforming the hedge funds. Q4, we should see a lot of risk taking, aka AI, BTC. Yep. Plus the global M2 supply, right, is going high. So that's going to obviously lead to Bitcoin also going up much higher from there, from where it is right now. Let's see. Jay, can CORZ enter price discovery here? CORZ, no. CORZ will follow CoreWeave because CoreWeave is buying them out, right? It's based on a ratio of the shares there that they're going to be getting. So no, that one's tied to CoreWeave. If CoreWeave takes off, then CORZ will go up with it for the most part. That's kind of what I would think would happen, yeah. So we'll see if that even goes through, right? They got the shareholder meeting and vote for that buyout later on this month, I believe. So we'll see if that goes through. All right, take one more question here and we'll call it a day. It's almost 10 o'clock here. Okay. DeFi, what's your take on Bitfarms? I love the direction that they're going into, right? I talked about it when they were going through it. I wasn't happy about the decreased hash rate, but I love the fact that they were going into the United States more so. And then obviously the sites that they do have, obviously the one in Pennsylvania is in a great geological area with a lot of large population is what I'm looking for. There you go. So I think it's got good potential here going forward. All right, Cass, what Canadian mining companies are there? Just Bitfarms, Hive, and Hut. Hut's no longer Canadian. They have operations in Canada. They have some power plants in Canada, but they are Miami-based in the USA. So you got Bitfarms. Bitfarms is Canadian-based, and Hive. Yeah, that's basically it that I'm aware of. Maybe some of the smaller miners too also. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought maybe DMG or Digihost were Canadian. I could be wrong on that one. I'm going up memory here. All right. Sorry, Melon. How long is your studio upgrade going to take? Oh, gosh, I don't know. It's not just a studio upgrade. I'm doing the whole basement down here. So I got the walls 95% done as far as framing is concerned. I still have to frame out the bathroom that's going to be here off of the studio. So that's coming up probably later on this week. I'll work on that as well. And when that's done, then I got to get the HVAC guy out here to figure out how we're going to heat this place during the wintertime. And once that's done, then I can continue on with electrical wiring, some light plumbing as well, and then I can start actually putting in insulation, doing some stuff on the ceiling that I need to do as far as soffits and all that stuff. So it's going to be a while. It's still going to be a work in progress. I'm hoping to get it done in the next, like 5 months or something like that. Doing a lot of the work myself here. Doing that so I don't have to sell any of these shares, so I can make better gains. The Heinze Seb, a new setup. Yeah, working on a new setup here, right? Trying to get the basement insulated and balls up. David, I think DMGI is a Canadian. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they were. I knew there was at least another one that was in there. I'm not sure. Is it? Yeah, it's like DMGI or Digihost. One of those two were the Canadian other miners there. All right, but that's it, right? We'll call it a day. We're going on 45 minutes, which is pretty good. It's Sunday night. I'm a little beat from installing the 2x4 walls here, and I'm just can't wait to see where things go tomorrow and later on this week as well. So buckle up. It's going to be fun, and it's not going to be an easy ride, but I think it's going to be an exciting ride nonetheless. So be patient out there. Know what you own. Do your research as always. And I wish you guys, millions and millions of dollars of profits in these guys. Hopefully we can get that later on into next year as well. And some of you guys might be already there already. So congrats to all you guys. And then DeFly's got one last thing. Chamath warns that Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon add gigawatts of NVIDIA GPU capacity. The grid can't keep up, and power costs could double. He says the next wave is AI compute. Yep, would agree there. Hopefully the cost of electricity doesn't go up. Hopefully they can figure out a way to work with it all. All right, but that's it. Love you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about anything else that happens then. But yeah, have a great week. It should be a good week for us here. We'll see, though. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.